Hello and welcome to another basics video. In this video I'm going to talk to you about different hitches that weren't covered in my knots video or my friction hitches video. These hitches are other knots that are used in climbing in, again, a multitude of situations. First one I want to talk about is the Clove Hitch. And I know I have another video out there, but I just wanted to make sure I had everything together so that way it was all in one place. Now, there are two main ways to make a clove hitch. Everyone has their own system for this, but let me get this tail out of the way. Easy way to do it is the air clove. If you have a nice spacious ledge before you clip into your anchor, you can use this method. What I like to do is you can hold your hands across from each other like this, left on bottom, right on top. You pull your hands. Here, let me do that with more rope. Pull both your hands. So you'll notice how now I have two loops. One loop with the end on top, and then one loop with the end beneath it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the end below and put it over the end on top. So if we're starting left hand below, right hand above, we pull apart, right hand above, left hand below. And then that all comes out to a clove hitch. Now we know this is a clove hitch because you see a little X right there, and then a line going through the belly. As well as, when it's clipped into your anchor, you tug it on each side, and it doesn't move from each side. So it should seize up on itself. Now then, another thing we can do is the handshake clove. This clove hitch is pretty useful, especially if you're at a stance that maybe isn't too good in terms of balance, or maybe there's other distractions going on. So what you can do is clip your carabiner into the, say I get up here, my anchor is actually staying where it should be. I take my carabiner, I clip it down into the anchor, and then flip it around into its most useful position. I then can hold the carabiner open with my hand and thus also hold on to the anchor. I'm going to grab my rope with my thumb facing away from me and my palm facing towards me. Bring it up, give it a half twist, which is kind of hard to see. There you go, now it's easier to see. See that half twist in there. And now I'm going to grab the same rope going down to my belayer, same exact way, same exact half twist, throw my hand in. I'll lock my carabiner down, and then there you have a clove hitch. If I was the other way, I'd be holding on with my left hand and going down with my right hand. It's the same exact setup. Thumb facing away, palm facing towards. Do a half twist. Then grab the rope from behind and do another half twist. It is the same exact setup either way you go. So it is very good to practice this and get good at both hands. And don't forget to lock your carabiner as long as we're out here. There are a few other hitches I would like to talk about now. One is the Munter hitch. And so there's a couple different ways to make a Munter hitch, a couple different ways people prefer. The way I like doing it is you can start by making a loop of some sort. Doesn't matter which way the loop goes. And then whatever, you see how this end is below this end? That means I'm going to fold it over. Yeah? If it was the other way, where here you go. This end was below that end, and you fold it over. See how you're capturing the rope? You can put that into your anchor that keeps on slipping down. There you go. And then the way how you know this is a Munter hitch is you can pull each side of the Munter hitch. You see it has that distinct flip. And then that's how you get a Munter hitch. Me personally, I like to build a Munter hitch on an anchor. And there are a couple ways you can do this. One way is you clip the rope in, and then, you clip it in with a half twist already. Notice how there is a half twist right here. And then I can just bring the rope around and clip it in again. And then it's a Munter hitch. Another way, which a lot of people like doing, is clip the rope in, and then stack both hands on the rope, go 1, 2. And then throw it in. Yeah? And then the good part about this setup is the strand that would be lowering the climber is further away from the gate. But either way, whatever way gets a Munter hitch in the end is fine. Me personally, I think I prefer this method, if I remember what I do, because it's the same as the Clove Hitch method. Yeah, but instead of doing that half twist, I just do no twist on the second one. So that way it's the same, it's how you can get the same hitch, or sorry, a different hitch with the same method. Now, for those of you who have done any sort of crevasse rescue, or any maybe taking a rock climbing rescue course, or an ice rescue course even, you already have known the Munter hitch because it is a very useful rescue tool, but then you'll also be aware of how to tie it off with the mule knot. Way how to do the mule knot, especially when you, a lot of times you tie it off when you always have weight on the strand, so it's a good way to practice by having weight on the strand. The way how I do it is I bend the rope back. Notice how I transferred my brake hand to my other hand, and it really doesn't take too much to actually hold up a person. I'm making a loop. Notice how, if I do it the other way, see how I'm bending it up, so that way both these strands are together, the brake strand and the load strand. If I bent it the other way, you see how the brake strand is apart from the load strand by the rope. We don't want that. So bend it up. Brake strand and load strand are together. Take the rope, pass a bite through that loop that you made, and you pull it down. There you go. One thing you do want to get good at, if I can pull it, is tying the Munter hitch real close, sorry, tying the mule knot real close to the Munter hitch. Yeah, if you tie it when it is way up here, for example, then usually, yeah, there you go. It has to slide all the way in order to actually start blocking. And then that can cause problems later on, or really freak out your climber too. So, let me pull myself back in here. It's good practice to start tying that knot. You see, about as close as you can to the Munter hitch. Pull that, make sure it's nice and tight, and you can pull a decent amount of rope through. This isn't enough though. You have to be able to either, usually you do the Munter mule overhand, or some people call it an MMO, where then you bring the tail from that bite, and then you tie another overhand. And you also make sure that this is real close to that knot. This is bringing up finishing knots that I talked about in a different video, about how the finisher knot should be really close to the main knot, because if you have it way up high, it's not doing its job as well, because they can easily slide back and then start coming untied and you have problems. Now sometimes, for whatever certain reason, you don't have enough rope to tie this, to tie your mule knot off, or there's other problems in the way. And one thing you can do is clip it off. Because again, if it gets pulled, see how this carabiner is keeping this knot from coming untied. And that's what we want. Some people will tell you you have to have a locking carabiner on this strand. Other people say you don't need a locking carabiner. It's just whatever you feel comfortable with, or what the circumstance provides. If this is a free hanging setup, I may not do a locking carabiner, but if there's a rock right here, I could easily open up a carabiner. Like, it could rub against the gate, open up a carabiner, and then this pops out and then you have trouble. So that would be a good time to use a locking carabiner. You just got to use your judgment for that sort of thing. All right. So the last hitch I want to talk about is called the Girth Hitch. This is a lot simpler. You would use this hitch when you are, well, perhaps when you're setting up some sort of personal tether in your harness, either on your 2 points or on your belay loop, or if you find a tree en route while you're alpine climbing or trad climbing, you just wrap this. You can use this hitch to wrap a sling around the tree and then clip it to your rope. So, very useful hitch to know. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend my arm's a tree here, or a root or whatever. Girth hitch is simple. You just drape it over and then pull one end through the other end. There you go, that's a girth hitch. If I was rappelling, just bring a small end through the long end. Girth hitch right there. So that's a very important hitch to know. Pretty easy to do, pretty easy to experiment. A lot of people time without even thinking about it. So anyway, that's all the hitches that are typically come up in climbing. There are a few others that are a little bit more obscured now or maybe not used as much, or it could be substituted with one of these hitches, but these ones are the important ones. So thank you for watching.